What's going on? It's Brother Al, and I'm back with another one. Hey, I want to address how the older generation really screwed over a lot of us. And yeah, I got gray in my beard and all of that, but I always, I actually was one of those guys that always did look older than what I really was. I was in my 20s, and everybody thought I was in my 30s. But anyways, when I say older generation, I'm talking about that baby boomer generation. That's about the time when culture started to shift. So right now, a lot of them are 60, 70 years old. All right, like your 70-year old on the late end, maybe like around late 50s or so on a younger end. That generation that was born in the 60s, 70s, gave birth to people in the 80s and 90s and even maybe 2000s. That generation has done a major disservice to us in the way that they raise people. All right, and I'll give you an example. Today I was online conversating with somebody with another guy, right? And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna raise my daughter to be self-sufficient, to not depend on another man for financial means and all this, that, and the other. You know how the typical spiel go. So that if she finds somebody and he's abusive and don't provide and all this, that, and the other, she can leave and she'll be okay. Look, there's a misconception that if you raise your daughter to be a wife, that you're raising her to be weak, because that's what the guy said. He was like, "I'm not gonna raise no." He was basically saying like I would raise a daughter to become weak. Raising her to be, raising her and gearing her up for marriage is raising your daughter to become weak, and that is the mentality of a lot of people in this modern society, especially in modern black society. I'm gonna say African American society, because it's not like this in Africa. Even though it's starting to kind of trend a little bit towards that way now with social media being worldwide with the internet and stuff. But there's especially in the Western world, not so much more traditional countries, but in the Western world, there's this mentality of marriage bad, independence good. You know, you got and like the stuff that he was saying is just like his whole outlook on marriage was all negative. All right. A lot of times we in this space we think that it's just men. I mean, it's just women that have negative outlooks on men. What do you think that they're getting this from? A lot of these women do get it from their moms, because in the black community, I think it's like 70% of households are raised in single mom households. Um, but the men, you got to realize too, the men that grow up to have children and that do stay in that child's life have a very modern woman type of modern feminine type of outlook on things, and they don't have that traditional outlook on things where they can raise a traditional woman. You have these men that are 9 times, or I'm gonna say 7 times out of 10, because it's about 70% chance they're raising women to be single. They're not raising them to become a wife. And my response to him was that, because he was saying that the number one priority of a father to his daughter is to raise her to become self-sufficient. No. The number one priority of a father is to raise his child, raise his daughter. We're speaking about daughters here. Is to raise his daughter to become a woman of God. to become a bride of Christ, which symbolizes the church. All right, so we should be raising godly, moral women that grow up knowing how it is to be the bride of Christ. And because she knows how it is to be the bride of Christ, she knows how it is to be the bride of her husband. Because marriage symbolizes the relationship between church and Christ, the body of Christ, with Christ being the head. The wife is the body of the marriage, and then the man is the head, symbolizing Christ, as the wife symbolizes the church. So that if you train your daughter to be that type of a woman, she's naturally gonna fulfill her role as a wife. Whereas if you train your woman, you train your daughter, you raise your daughter up to become this strong, independent, don't need no man type of woman, what happens is she grows up looking at marriage and looking at men in a negative light. And that's why we so often we hear in our community that ninjas ain't ish, all of this stuff like that, because it's been ingrained in them, and even by the men, because the men have a very modern, feminine type of mentality, because a lot of our men are raised by single moms, and they're raising these women to be single for life. Because, like, here's the thing, they harp on their daughters so much about get out of this abuse, don't be in an abusive relationship, be strong, be independent, you don't need no man, all this, that, and the other. So they look at marriage like, I don't want to be married. They're thinking career, be self-sufficient. Look, the Creator never designed it like that. When the woman came on the scene, the man was already there. That's how it's designed. It's for the woman to be presented before the man. I'm not saying that every single woman has to be married. Even Jesus said that not everybody gonna marry. But the overwhelming majority, that's what it's supposed to be. It shouldn't be the overwhelming majority of the society is single. And now, like they're not even having children like that. People used to be single coming up but still having children. Now they're not even having children. Population centers are declining because I don't blame them. They don't want to be a single mom. But the thing is, they don't know how to be a wife. So, and marriage has been painted so negative by the single moms and by these fathers who raising children as if they are a single mom. And then, so they just don't want to deal with marriage because they've been schooled all their life that get away from your abuser, you're not property, all this, that, and the other. Look, there's nothing better kept than a woman who has a husband that provides, protects, loves her, cares for her, like Christ provides, protects, loves, and cares for the church. I do this video because we as a society gotta get out of this toxic generational curse cycle of keep on raising women to be single. There's videos online of women crying, bawling out. I haven't seen any men crying yet about losing no job, but there's so many women on there online crying, like not knowing what to do because they're getting laid off from these federal jobs and they're single as a dollar bill and ain't got no man. They were strong and independent, don't need no man. But what happens when their job fails? You know what I'm saying? If the marriage fails, you still can have a job. But if the job fails and you don't have no marriage, no man, then you really screwed out. So go ahead, do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe. I want to know what you think in the comment section.